I'm 70 years old now. Sometimes it feels like this age doesn't belong to me, like it belongs to someone else. As if I'm sitting on a chair, watching that woman breathe slowly, and with every breath, something slips quietly into the past. When I wake up in the morning, sound isn't what reaches me first. It's sensation, the weight in my knees, the tightness in my lower back, and then the silence that's already waiting in the room, as if it arrived before I did. There was a time when this silence felt peaceful. Now it feels like evidence. Standing in front of the mirror, I look into my own eyes. My face grew old a long time ago, but the questions in my eyes are the same ones I had at 30. Only now, there isn't much time left to search for answers. People say, "You must have seen so much in your life." I nod, smile, agree. But what I didn't see weighs far heavier. My life wasn't ruined by one terrible decision. There was no great disaster, no scandal, no breaking point, no shouting. Everything happened very politely. And that politeness took everything from me. When I was young, I believed life was a long, straight road. You just keep walking and the destination comes to you on its own. Stopping scared me. I thought if you stopped, you'd fall behind. My mother was the same way. Quiet, always busy, dissolved into her work. I never once saw her sit and simply breathe. She used to say, "A woman's job is to keep the household running." I accepted that as truth so completely that I never questioned it. I got married at 20. I remember that day. I wasn't very happy, but I wasn't sad either. Felt like the next step, like after school comes college and after that comes marriage. My husband wasn't a bad man. I want to be clear about that. He was responsible. He went to work on time, paid the bills. He never raised his hand, never raised his voice. He just never truly listened to me. And I never insisted. In the beginning, I talked a lot. I told him about my day, about my childhood, about small dreams that didn't even have names yet. He would smile, sometimes nod, and then pick up the newspaper. I thought maybe this is what marriage is. And slowly I stopped talking too. The silence felt strange at first. Then it became a habit. And then it became who I was. When the children were born, life sped up. I felt needed, important, useful. Breakfast in the morning. School clothes. Lunch boxes. Housework. Homework in the evening. Exhaustion at night. Sometimes after the children fell asleep, I'd stand alone in the kitchen washing dishes and wonder when my life would actually begin. Then I'd laugh at myself. Life is happening, I'd think. What am I even saying? My daughter talked a lot. She told me stories about school and friends and tiny dramas. I listened, but only halfway. My body was with her, but my mind was always in tomorrow. Tomorrow's meals. Tomorrow's chores. Tomorrow's worries. I believed I was responsible. In truth, I wasn't present. My son spoke less. He stayed in his room. I was relieved that he didn't ask much of me. Now I realize he probably needed me too, he just never asked. I never told my children that I carried them in my heart. I thought doing the work was enough. My marriage continued the same way. Two people living in the same house but not really with each other. Sometimes he wanted to talk. I would say, "I'm tired right now." And he would go quiet. I thought we had our whole lives ahead of us. That sentence cost me dearly. Fear of money lived inside me. Fear of insecurity, fear of tomorrow. I planned everything except the moments. I never asked myself how I was feeling. That question felt unnecessary, almost selfish. Then time changed everything without making a sound. The children grew up. Their lives began. The phone calls became fewer and shorter. I don't blame them. They became exactly like me. My husband retired. He stayed home more, but the silence stayed with us. Sometimes I'd look at him and wonder who he was to me now. My husband, a habit, or just someone sitting beside me. Then one ordinary day, his health failed. White hospital walls. The sound of machines. I sat beside him. He held my hand very gently and said, "We never really talked, did we?" At that moment, I had answers from an entire lifetime. But not a single word came out. Few months later, he was gone. And for the first time, I was truly alone. The house accepted his absence the same way it had accepted his presence. Quietly. One room simply became emptier. I left his clothes in the closet. Not because I missed him, but because touching them felt like admitting something had truly ended. People came. Some cried. Some spoke out of politeness. Everyone said the same thing. "God has given you so much patience." I wondered if it was patience or habit. When the heart is exhausted, they feel the same. At night, I sat alone on the bed. His side was cold. For the first time, I realized I couldn't even miss him properly. That scared me. I used to think grief arrives screaming. But real grief is quiet. It sits down and refuses to leave. The days passed. The routine stayed. Habit keeps you alive, but it doesn't let you feel. After the funeral, the children returned to their lives. They said, "Mom will call." And sometimes they did. I didn't call much either. I was afraid of becoming a burden. No one ever told me I was one. I just learned how to make my needs smaller. Sometimes I ask myself what would have happened if I had spoken a little more, stopped a little longer, or said, "I'm scared," just once. But life doesn't move forward on what if. It moves forward on what we carry. In the evenings, I sit on the balcony. People pass below. Laughter, arguments, life happening loudly. One day, all of it will be silent too. My daughter visits sometimes. She's always short on time. I say, "It's okay," and make myself smaller again. My son asks, "Are you okay?" I always say yes. K is an easy word. Hides everything. Very little in my life was truly wrong. And maybe that was my biggest mistake. I always chose the right thing, the safe thing, the acceptable thing. But what is right and what is alive are not always the same. Now I live with the words that were never spoken. They are heavy. I'm not telling this story to be comforted. I'm telling it so my silence doesn't become someone else's future. If you are listening and if there is still time, speak. Feel. Life's greatest loss isn't when everything falls apart. It's when everything seems fine. I'm 70 years old now. And every day I remember this. Time never stops to ask for permission. And yet, even knowing this now, I still have to remind myself every day. Old habits don't disappear just because we finally understand them. They loosen slowly, like tight knots that have been pulled for decades. Some mornings, I catch myself rushing for no reason at all. There is nowhere I need to be. No one waiting. Still, my body remembers urgency better than rest. So I sit back down. Place my hands on my lap. I breathe. Not because I'm tired, but because I'm alive. I've started noticing small things that I once ignored. The sound of birds arguing on the balcony railing. The way sunlight moves across the floor during the afternoon. The taste of tea when I drink it slowly instead of standing at the counter. These moments don't change the past. They don't erase regret. But they remind me that life doesn't only exist in big decisions. It lives in attention. Sometimes memories come back without warning. A sentence I never finished. Question I never asked. I let them come now. I don't push them away. I sit with them the way I should have sat with people. I used to think strength meant endurance. Staying quiet. Carrying everything without complaint. Now I understand that strength can also mean honesty. Saying, "I need you." Saying, "I feel lonely." Saying, "I don't know." If my husband were here now, I don't know what I would say first. Maybe nothing profound. Maybe just, "I see you." Maybe that would have been enough all along. I don't expect forgiveness from the past. I only hope the future learns from me. I hope my children pause sometimes and ask themselves how they are really feeling, not how they should be feeling. And if one day they remember me, I hope they remember not just what I did for them, but that I tried, at least in the end, to truly be present. If you are listening to this and thinking it's too late, let me say this clearly. Late is still alive. Late still breathes. Late still feels. Life doesn't demand perfection. It asks for participation. I'm 70 years old now. I carry my silence, my love, my regret, and my understanding together. They all belong to me. And every single day, as quietly as I can, I remind myself of this one final truth. Time never stops to ask for permission. And now, each morning I try to do something different. Something small but intentional. I sit by the window a little longer. I let the light touch my face. I don't rush the silence away anymore. I let it stay, and I listen to what it's been trying to tell me for years. I think about the younger version of myself, the woman who believed she had endless time. I want to reach back and tell her that life is not only about responsibility, that love needs words, that presence matters more than perfection. I think about my children, not as adults rushing through their own lives, but as they once were. Small hands, loud laughter, questions that deserved slower answers. I hope they forgive me for the moments I missed. And I hope they don't repeat my mistakes simply because they feel familiar. Some days regret feels heavy. Other days it feels like a quiet teacher. It reminds me that even now, something can still be chosen. Even now, a moment can still be lived fully. I have learned that silence can protect you, but it can also erase you. That being strong for too long can make you invisible. And that love, without expression, slowly turns into distance. If I could define my life in one sentence, it wouldn't be that I suffered. It would be that I waited. I waited for the right time, the right mood, the right permission. And most of the time, that permission never came. So if you are listening and your life still feels busy and full and loud, pause. Look at the people beside you. Say the things you keep saving for later. Later is not guaranteed. I'm 70 years old now. I don't have the illusion of endless days anymore. But I do have clarity. And clarity even this late is